Hi, I'm Clarke from Craftsuprint.com, and I've got another fabulous Christmas card to show you today. And this one is one of my 3D snow globe cards. This one features one of my little Westie dogs, all ready for Christmas. He's riding his sledge in the snow. These kits are almost 8x8, and they should fit into the 8x8 envelopes. And they come with 3D pyramage layers on the side there, if the camera can pick those up, and decoupage for the bow, and I've added a little pom-pom on the top there. But as well as the card, we've got little toppers, and I've used one of them on the inside of the card just to finish it off there. And it comes with 3 of those, so you could use them as a gift tag, or you could, if you sell your cards, if you put your details on the back, people can come back to you for more orders. And we've got 2 little folded gift tag cards, also in the shape of snow globes. And then we've got a little Christmas decoration as well. And this has got the pyramage layers on it as well, to make it the 3D layers. And I'm going to show you how to make those. So, we just pop these to one side, and we'll get started. You get 6 sheets in the kit, and each sheet is numbered, and the kit of course comes with full instructions too. So you get the front of the snow globe with your small toppers, then you get your back of your snow globe with the part that joins the 2 together, so that will be the hinge, and then you get all of your pyramage layers. Now you can use all the layers like I have done on the card that I've just made and the ones I'm going to show you, or you can use just some of the layers depending on how deep you want it to be. And there's 2 more, and then you get the folded gift tags as well, and then you get the sheet with the ornament on too. Now, just neatly place those into 2 piles, because these are the 3 sheets that I'm going to show you the first step on. And we'll start with sheet 2. Sheet 2 is the back of the card and the hinge. Now, as with a lot of my designs, we've got score lines, registration marks top and bottom. Now my normal way of doing this is to use a ruler and a scoring tool, and to line it up with those registration marks, and just to score along there 2 or 3 times. But I have been asked by 1 or 2 people whether it's possible to do it with a scoring board, and yes, of course it is. So what I'm going to do is, because not every printer will take your sheet in straight, sometimes they're going wonky, and I know that mine does, the best way of doing this is again to use your ruler and the registration marks, and to use a pencil. And I just mark right at the edges of the sheet. So I've marked it right the way down at the bottom there and at the top here. And then you have to bear with me because I'm going to be doing this upside down. If I bring in my scoreboard, I've marked a line down the centre of mine so that I know which line I'm going to be lining it up with. And I'm going to line the top up with it and the bottom line. Now I can see already that this is skewed. So if I just line it up like that and take the tool that comes with the scoring board, and I like to just locate it on the registration marks to make sure that I have got it correct, and I have. Now you do it, and that really does give a much better score line if you've got one of these to use. Now the next thing to do with this particular sheet is to cut it out. Now because you're going to need to stand it up, I like to cut the bottom so that it's absolutely square. And if you've got one of this sort of a cutting machine, paper trimmer, it's got a wire that runs down the middle here. So when I place the sheet in, I line where I'm wanting to cut up with the wire so that it's exactly square, and then if I run that along, it cuts it off so that the bottom is absolutely straight. And I tend to use that with every straight cutting edge that I need to cut out on everything. So the next one that we're going to deal with is the one with the ornaments on. And before I score that one, I like to cut it so that we're only scoring where the ornaments are. And then if I again bring in the scoring board, it's like juggling this, isn't it? And of course the ruler first, and again line it up with the registration marks, and if I get the pencil, and again mark where it goes off at the top and the bottom, and then once again I can score it, and in this way it saves time as well, because you can score both of them at the same time. And as far as I can remember, this is the only scoring on these that we have to do. And then of course your next step is to cut everything out, which I've already done. So I'll just move these to one side and fetch out the next pieces. The one we're going to be making up is this one, and this one's got the penguin on it. Now this one is the back, again, and that's where we scored it. And then before I cut it out, I like to fold it in half and use a bone folder to give a good sharp crease. And then when I'm cutting out, I like to cut out leaving a little white border, but I cut the two pieces at the same time. That makes sure there's no error in it. You've got no bits sticking out over the top. And then of course we've got the front as well. Now to join the two together, we're going to use this part which is the hinge. Now you can see I've left this piece on. You can take that piece off if you like, it really doesn't matter. And to turn them upside down, and on this piece with the hinge I'm going to add double-sided tape here. For quickness I'm going to use my sticky tape putter on thingy. You could use double-sided tape if you like. So I'm just going to run just 3 pieces. You might want to put more on than I'm putting on, just to make, because the front of the card is going to take a little bit of weight with having the pyramage layers on it. And I'm going to turn it back upside down again and fold that in. Now if you get your cutting mat with your grid on it, and I like to line up with the grid for the corner, and then I line up the other side as well, making sure not to nudge them. Let's make sure that the bottom again is going to be square, and then very gently just lift it up and over and press it down. Now if you've got any bits that are showing but shouldn't be showing, you can always trim them off. I've got the tiniest little bit here which I can trim off later, but other than that, that is the basic card. Now you could actually send it like that if you want to, but of course we're going to add to the layers. Now there's this piece in the middle. You can cut that piece out if you like. I don't tend to cut that out, but I will cut out the tiny bit at the bottom now. And again I'm going to leave just a little border there, and there we have that cut out in the corner. Now the next part is of course to add your layers, and as I'm cutting them out I like to turn them over and put the number on the back so that I make sure I don't miss any. And I also like to just gently shape the edges of them. Now you could use something softer than a cutting board if you like. You don't want to shape it too much, but just a little. If you shape it too much it's not going to fit, but we are trying to make it be like a globe. And of course that is going to fit in place there. Now I like to use silicone glue, which I've got just here, and I'm going to place. I like to use silicone because you can vary the depth of it, but not only that, it gives you plenty of time to move it around as well. And when you're adding the pyramage layers you do like to make sure that you've got it in the right place. Now I'm just going to add a few blobs here. This is white, but it does, the one I'm using goes on white but dries clear. And one thing I've just realised that I have forgotten is we haven't put the little topper on the inside, which is easier to put on now than later, because otherwise I'll have to wait till it's dried. So again I'll use a sticky tape putter on a thingy and pop this somewhere in the middle to just give a nice finish to the inside of the card. And then we turn this over, and the tricky bit, because I'm doing it upside down, but what I'm trying to do is line up the line of the snow I'm looking at first, and then I'm looking at these trees on the outside, and that looks about right. And that's the first layer on. Now I have cheated with the next layers because I've already made them up. I didn't think you needed to see me do all those layers. So again I'm going to take the silicone glue, and you You can put a bigger blob in the middle if you like, and smaller blobs towards the outside. And in this way you end up with a lovely three-dimensional front to your card. Makes it look like a real snow globe then. And then in exactly the same way, I'm going to line this one up. Like I say, the beauty of the silicone is that you can move it around until it's exactly the right place. So at the moment, it's actually missing just a tiny bit at the top here, so I'll move it round a little bit. There, that's better. I'll just lift it up for you to see. Obviously it's not dried this time, so I'm not going to be able to stand this one up. And then there's the decoupage bow as well, which I've already cut out. And again I'm going to use silicone for this. And I'm going to use a tiny bit in the middle, but I'm going to use a bigger blob. And you notice that I'm not putting it on the decoupage piece. I like to put it, when I'm doing this, on the card itself. You know exactly where it's going to go anyway, and then it's easier to handle the decoupage piece. So now when I go to put it on, there, I'm pressing it flat in the middle, and because I've put a larger blob to either side, it's going to hold it up, so that you've now got a really good three-dimensional image on it. So that's the card finished, although once it's dried I do like to add glitter. And one other thing that we could add, and that is a pom-pom to the top of his hat. And I have got some of these, which I think are sold by a supermarket for children's crafting, but they're lovely little pom-poms which are great on these Christmas cards. I'll put that to one side. So the next thing to do is, once you've cut out the little snow globes, is obviously to fold those in half, and again use your bone folder to give a good sharp crease, so you've got your card, and then you've got your two little folded gift tags. There we go. And then the last thing to make, oh, and then you've got the toppers as well, of course, that you can put in with the card. And the last thing on the sheets, of course, is the ornament. And again, I've cut them out and I've made up the pyramage layers in exactly the same way as you saw me do with the big card. But on the back, this time, I'm using a good, strong double-sided tape, because this is going to hang and you don't want it to come apart. So on one of them, I've put on as much as I can fit, and on the other one, I've put one piece up at the top. There. It actually goes, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it goes just there like that. And then for the hanger, you can use either a piece of bent, you're not going to be able to see that, are you? If I put it in front of there, maybe you'll be able to see it, pick it up. Piece of bent craft wire. We're going to ignore the telephone, so whoever it is phoning, we're not interested, thank you very much. And we've got a paper, or you could use a paper clip. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to place it right in the middle there. And it's stuck down to the double-sided tape just there. And to check that it's in the right place, if you take either ribbon, or I've got here a nice piece of chain, and if it seems to be hanging squarely, you will know that it'll be in the right place, and that looks alright to me. So the next thing to do is to take the second part, of course. Of course, if that was somebody on the telephone offering me millions of pounds, then yes please. I would rather like it, but we normally end up with people offering to sell us double glazing or something. Right, and we put the second, I'll do this upside down as well if I can. And we put the second piece on the top of the first piece. Now this one you've got to get right first time if you're using double-sided tape. There, and that's not too bad. And squish the two sides together. Now because I've allowed these to dry before I've put them together, it's much firmer, so that is good. And then like I said before, you can either use ribbon or you can use chain. And there. You can either hang it on your own tree or you can pop it in with the card for the recipient, so they've got a nice little keepsake with their card. And if I just bring in the others as well, there will be I have done quite a few of these snow globes now. I did a few last year, but I've done a lot more which I'll be adding over the next few days too. So there will be lots to choose from. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I say, I'm Clarke from Craftsuprint.com, and if you'd like to see more of my designs, just go to www.craftsuprint.com/Carol Clarke. And I hope to see you again next time on Cup TV. Bye!